I think the biggest thing for me is like, don't play me for a fool. That's what really got me angry when I first started waking up to the truth and snapping out of the lies and what I am going to call a spell. Now, you can laugh at me, you can say whatever you want. I'm crazy for thinking it's a spell, but let me tell you something. When members of society that are involved in secret groups, when they dress up in robes and certain outfits and they play certain vibrations and certain music and they beat certain drums and they say certain things and they all sit around in a circle and they do things like they worship, when they're doing that and it just so happens to be on an eclipse or on a solstice or on some sort of a astronomical alignment, I'm gonna call that a spell. I'm just gonna go out and blatantly just call it a spell, you know? Why lie about it? I mean, it is what it is. What else are we doing here? Because I'll tell you what, I don't gather giant groups of my neighbors, and during these events we don't get together and dress in outfits and all stand together and chant and beat drums and pray to whatever. We don't do that. You know, most normal people. Actually, most of us, like me and you and all of us other people, we're working usually when this is taking place. We're at our job that we're forced to be at so we can pay our mortgage or our taxes or anything so that we can stay alive and keep our families afloat. We're doing that when they're doing that. So I'm just going to go ahead again and call it a spell. Again, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to think that it's a spell. You can just think that it's just a bunch of grown adults outside during a strange astronomical event and they are just doing something. They're hanging out. I don't know. They're having fun. They're just doing something silly, you know? Grown adults, that's what most adults do with the little bit of their free time. But again, these aren't normal adults that, you know, have only this teeny tiny bit of free time like us. We get granted a couple of days off a year for some silly holiday that they made up, you know, like today, Juneteenth, you know, another one, just keep throwing them in there. And we celebrate these things that most likely never happen, like Columbus Day and just all of this nonsense, right? So when we're off on our little 1 or 2 days off that they grant us, thank you so much, by the way, Juneteenth, yay, they are off doing whatever creepy seance-y type ritualistic things that they're doing. You know what I mean? And it's weird to me, you know? And now that I've been blabbering about that, I don't even know where I was going to go with this whole conversation. But I will tell you, if you start snapping out of it, oh, that's right, because when I snapped out of it, I was so annoyed, so angry, because I don't like being played for a fool. You know what I'm saying? I don't. At work, I don't let people play me for a fool. On the street, I don't let people play me for a fool. I don't like being played with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure a lot of you don't. A lot of you folks out there, you don't like being played with either. And that's why I'm out here to teach people truth, to point people in the right directions, because it's time that we learn the truth. I know what NASA means. I know there's a snake tongue sticking through the logo. I know that Napoleon said history is a set of lies agreed upon. I know that. I know that we're not spinning, you know, on a magical space ball, spinning 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, 66,600 miles an hour, that they rounded up to 66,700 miles an hour because of all the 666s that they embed in all of their stuff. Because that's what NASA does, so they rounded that number up. But, you know, that's another thing. And then chasing the sun 500,000 miles an hour through the galaxy, I know that we're not doing that. It's absurd. I also know that Polaris is in the same spot every night. And some people claim that the North Star has changed over thousands of years. And they think that Polaris was not always the pole star, and it's not always going to be the pole star. But guess what? I don't believe in that nonsense. I don't believe in it. Because there are people, Ptolemy, for example, he was one of the first people, if not the first person, to actually write down in several books that the North Star was the pole star. It was the center of the universe. And he did this thousands of years ago. So, yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. Not for nothing. We took bits and pieces of other people's work, and then we threw away the truth and kept the lies, and we kept doing this through the generations. And now we're just stuck with the lies. But guess what? the good thing is that there is truth, because they pulled this information from the truth. Because again, in order to understand the truth, you have to understand the lie. This is what I tell people. So when you want to start to really learn the truth, you got to dig. All right, you'll get to Johannes Kepler. Oh, Johannes Kepler. Johannes Kepler did this and that, and he was so fancy pants, and we took his model for this heliocentric nonsense. Well, guess what? Johannes Kepler was actually the assistant of somebody named Tycho Brahe. And his beliefs weren't at all that we were spinning on a magical space ball through outer space. So you got to understand, they pulled all these ideas from other people's ideas. And again, they kept recycling the lie and throwing away the truth. And they don't throw it away entirely, they just keep it for themselves. They throw it away so that people like me and people like you don't ever learn the truth. Because when you learn the truth, you understand how it works. Like, you understand what to participate in. I understand the material world that I live in now. It's entirely material. And now I live in a way that I am only accessing that material world when I need to. And I know, like, I'm going in. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm going in. I'm going in, everybody. I got to go to the grocery store, right, to get some couple things. I'm going in. I'm entering the material world. Now I know when I enter this world, I'm playing by their rules. Their rules. So if I enter a store and their policy is that I have to go in wearing certain things, dressed in a certain way, that's their policy, because I'm entering their material world that they created. You get what I'm saying? If you create something and let somebody buy it from you, rent it from you, lease it from you, you are now the owner of that product. And when that person enters your facility or rents your product, you technically have dominion over that person, because they have that product, and that product is connected through contracts and through all sorts of paperwork, receipts, and everything else. So when you start to understand the world that we live in and the fake stuff, all the fake material crap that they threw us in so that we would participate in it, so that they would have dominion over us. When you start to learn all of these things and you start to pull away from that, wait until you see what happens to your life. Wait until you see. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a whole different ball game. But they know this information, and that's why people like me get banned and get censored heavily. You know, again, this is my 6th account. My 5th account just got removed, and I appealed a bunch of videos and they put it back on temporarily. But I have a website with the Sun 33, and I'm going to be building that website up eventually when I can get around to it. Like, I'm in this, I have to work to pay my bills, you know. I own a little house. This is my little house because that's all we need. See, it's cute. We got a little shed. We have chickens back there. We got a little yard, and we do our thing. We raise tilapia in the basement. We make our own bread. We make our own ice cream. We make our own candy. We make our own stuff. So we buy the bare minimum, the essentials, and we do that. Like my clothes, I don't shop. I get all my stuff at Goodwill, the Salvation Army. I don't spend money on nonsense. I don't care about brands, none of that. You know, my tattoos, my family, my brother-in-law did this tattoo on me. So everything I get, I find a way. I find a barter or somebody that will do it and, you know, trade, or just everything is simple. I keep my life simple. I stay out of that material world that is not created by me. I didn't create Social Security. I didn't create all these businesses. I didn't create digging for oil. I have to have a car because I have to get to work. But I didn't create digging for oil. I'm not the one polluting the earth. I'm just trying to get by. So stop blaming us. And when you learn the truth and you know exactly who the real enemy is, and we can start uniting and holding each other's hand and helping each other through the day and helping each other learn the truth. And I'm not talking about giving money to a stranger, but maybe giving a stranger 2 minutes of your time. How about that? Saying hi to a stranger, saying, hey, how you doing? You okay? Anything I can help you with? Can I call you do you need to go to the hospital? You know, is there anything? Are you homeless? Because there's a homeless shelter, I think, up the street. Anything, man. I'm not saying you have to let people into your car, but let people into your heart. That's it. I love you all, and this is for your entertainment.